Good morning, Bradley Harris.
Breakfast with Brad.
Is that today? Right, okay. Good morning, hello, and of course, welcome to Breakfast with Bradley. With me, Bradley Harris. Today, I'm kicking off our special 15-hour Quays broadcast, raising money for the Joseph Salmon Trust. Now, there's lots to come this Friday morning. As we talk about how our digital lives are becoming more acceptable, we ask the question, does this affect the chances of couples tying the knot? We've also got Adam, who's on the social sofa for us this morning, reading your tweets about today's topics, as well as letting you in on today's Twitter competition.
Yes, Bradley, that's correct. I'm here ready and waiting for your tweets to begin flooding in on today's topics and taking a look at what's trending across the UK. Just tweet us at Quays News using the hashtag 15HourQuays.
Brilliant, thanks Adam, looking forward to that one. Also today I'll be speaking to Lucinda Parker about her documentary exploring dementia, and we hear Dawn's heartbreaking story of being born in the wrong body. So here is your lineup for today. With us now is Dan McLaughlin, our political correspondent. Taking a look through the papers this morning, Dan, across Greater Manchester and the North West. We'll start off then with the Daily Mail. They've gone with UK banks named in football bribery scandal. What's that all about, Dan?
This is the story that's going to dominate every headline on every newspaper today. It is obviously the FIFA scandal. The presidency elections is happening today. But before that happened, FIFA officials were arrested as part of an investigation into bribery. Now, the Daily Mail implicating UK banks into here, saying the bribery actually went through UK banks, Barclays and HSBC allegedly. So, I mean, it personifies how important the story is when you've got the headline about football. And then you've got the typical Daily Mail story of Princess Michaela of Kent just wearing an eye patch because of eye surgery.
Well, classic Daily Mail, really, isn't it? I mean, it wouldn't be the Daily Mail without it. Massive story, then.
Well, it's a massive story because it's dominating the front pages, dominated the back pages as well, asking to vote Sepp Blatter
If we take a look at that,
yes.
You can see that there. It's also on the back of the paper.
It's an editorial to ask for the elections to vote Sepp Blatter out.
Well, it was in the papers yesterday. If we take a look at the Guardian, one of my favourite papers actually. Here we go. We cannot allow the shame to go on any longer, so I'll stay.
Yeah, this is a quote from Sepp Blatter where he's under an enormous amount of pressure with these elections, but he's still being very defiant, saying he'll stay on no matter the controversy. He's been in the role 17 years. I don't think he's going to budge, really.
Do you reckon, Dan, this whole controversy around this is going to potentially stop the World Cup? Yeah,
well, you had the UEFA president, Michaela Roy, say that actually European teams might boycott the World Cup. That's FIFA's cash cow. They'll be losing lots of money. So you might not see European teams playing the World Cup because of what's happened with the alleged bribery.
That's absolutely mad. If we go with the Times,
yes,
we've got, again, The FIFA story, FIFA scandal triggers risk of World Cup boycott. Clearly, it's in all the papers.
And Princess Michael of Kent again.
And in the Times, Dan.
Yes.
In the Times. Well, you wouldn't expect that, but...
I actually think the most important story is just below there, defence spending to be cut by extra £1 billion. Now, before the Conservative government came in 2010, they pledged that they would not cut defence funding. And now, 5 years on, second term, they're cutting it by an extra £1 billion.
There we go. And quickly then, Dan, if we take a look through the Metro, it's time to step down. Good title there.
Fantastic wordplay
there.
Metro. Yes, every editorial for every newspaper, especially in the UK, is saying Sepp Blatter, you need to stand down. Although it's the elections, you need to go because of this controversy.
Brilliant. There we go. Well, that's this morning's papers, Dan. Clearly, the FIFA story is dominant amongst all the papers there. But there we go. Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us about this morning's papers.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the lives of those who face living with dementia on a day-to-day basis can, of course, be a struggle for many. We follow a lady who looks after her mother who is living with the illness.
Today, I'm travelling to the small Lancashire town of Rawtenstall. Here, I'm meeting up with Jackie Walsh and her mother, Mary Ingham. Mary was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which is a form of dementia, almost 7 years ago, and has been facing it day by day since then.
You want me to take that nail polish off, don't you? Picking it? I know, I'll take it off after for her.
Well, firstly, about 5 years ago, maybe more, maybe 7 years ago, to be honest, we thought she had a problem, so we took her to the doctors. And she went for a brain scan and he said everything was fine. It's just a part of old age. Anyway, we left it, and then within another 2 or 3 years, we could see, so we went back to the doctors who gave her a memory test, who put her on to the hospital, who then diagnosed that she had Alzheimer's. Couldn't remember things, you know, she just had struggled to remember anything she'd done, or if you were to go out, take her out, she couldn't remember, you just telling you had to write a note down to remind her that you were going to come and pick her up, guide her through with notes really. And now also we're going out up to about 8 months ago. She was trotting down to Rawtenstall to Tesco's and back and buying her little bits, usually the same things, and then all of a sudden, about last summer, she just stopped. About 8-9 months ago, just stopped going. So I never moved out of house then really, unless she was going with somebody. Yeah, it was very sad having to go down and look after him, but at the same time, it came into my daily routine, you know. It came into me, as long as I knew she were okay and she was having something to eat and she was warm, and basically we were happy as long as she were happy. We're going in, like my mum went from looking after herself to her starting to forget, where then my sister started doing some shopping, but she was still going out with my auntie, where she went out twice a week with my auntie, 3 times a week, and up to club. And then obviously, as things started slipping away, my mum couldn't manage, we were then taking over, we're going in every morning, making sure she had a breakfast, giving her a dinner, changing her bed every day, because she started wetting beds, you know what I mean? And it all took to that, to where it led to going into a care home.
Mary has been living in a care home since December of 2014. Concerns were raised about her safety when people weren't around to check on her and to make sure that she was okay.
Because she smoked and was scared of having a fire, and she was using a gas fire, which was a bit, you know, the only plus side is she didn't use her oven, because we used to go and cook for her.
It is upsetting to see from an outsider's perspective how Mary has become so unconscious to what is happening to her, and also how it is affecting her family who are around her.
Oh, I don't want to do anything.
I think she really, it's had as big effect on my mum as it has on us. She knows she can't remember things, but it doesn't affect her. You know, it's not really getting her all frustrated.
Photos and memories are a key part of helping someone who is living with dementia. It allows them to put names to faces and also to reconnect with the world that they are gradually losing.
Who's that? You know who that is?
No.
That's Ellie. Who's that?
You silly bugger.
It is clear to see how important these short-lived memories mean to somebody like Mary, but also to her family. They allow them to hold on to her persona for just a little bit longer.
Joining us now is Lucinda Parker, who you just seen in that piece. Lucinda, thank you for joining us this morning. So we'll kick it off then. Very emotional piece.
Yeah.
You know, what made you think, I want to do a story on dementia?
Well, dementia's kind of become quite important now because more and more people are being diagnosed with it, and more and more people are estimated to be diagnosed with it in the future. I think the figure is 1 million by 2025, and that's just in the UK. So in 10 years' time, over 1 million people are going to be estimated to be living with this disease, and also they're starting from a younger age, so it's not just, you know, a disease that you associate with, you know, elderly people and just old age. It's actually going to be diagnosed, you know, within the age group of 40s and 50s. But I wanted to kind of focus on the families and the people who have to watch, you know, their loved ones deteriorate in front of their eyes, because they are the ones who have to care for them and have to put their lives on hold.
Do you, because it's about 1 million people,
Yeah.
you said, you know, do you think that enough people know about the illness?
I think awareness is being raised more and more now, because like last week it was Dementia Awareness Week. There are so many organisations that, you know, help people. For example, you've got like Admiral Nurses Group, you've got Alzheimer's.org, you've got dementia cafes where people can go to, and I didn't know any of this until a dementia cafe where, you know, people kind of get together, they can go with their families or their friends, and they just talk and, you know, look at photos and try to kind of reminisce and bring back some form of memory that they have. But at the same time, it's almost really upsetting because it's so short-lived, because then they end up forgetting it, and it's just such a heart-wrenching subject because you are losing like your persona and your self-being, really. And it's just so moving to see that the families, you know, being there for their loved ones.
Yeah, I mean, you have a personal connection with this piece, obviously.
Yeah.
And it must be quite sort of heartbreaking to have somebody who you have connected with over the years that has now suddenly forgot most of it, I see.
Well, like I say, my stepmum, her mum's just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which is a form of dementia, which Mary, in the clip we've just seen, she's got Alzheimer's. But my stepmum's mum is in like kind of the stages of like denial, where she won't accept that she's such a proud woman, and she won't accept that she's going to lose her marbles, as she says. And it's kind of changing the perception for that patient of just thinking, you know, you're not going to lose your marbles, you know, we're going to help you get through this, and, you know, family bond. And that's one thing that I've seen throughout doing this project, and that is that family ties are so important, because at the end of it there is no cure for it. And one thing that I found so, again, heart-wrenching is that you know, major drug firms such as like Pfizer and Jansins, they have actually cut research into finding a cure because it's so expensive. And
we're going to have to leave it there.
Sorry.
But no, that's fine, but thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Now, the reason we're here today is not only to attempt to broadcast for 15 hours, but to raise money for the Joseph Salmon Trust, a small charity whose aim is to offer financial assistance to people living in the Huddersfield and Mirfield areas whose child has died. Running for the Great Manchester Run of 2015. This is my first ever 10k in Manchester. I did the Salford 10k last year, both of which I'm doing for the Joseph Salmon Trust. It helps parents that have dealt with child bereavement, so it's really, it is for a good cause. There's loads of people about. I didn't think it'd be this busy. When you're running with loads of other people, it just makes it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more worthwhile, do you know what I mean? So it should be good, it's exciting, perfect weather for it, it's not too hot. So when I get my sweat on later, hopefully I'll be all right, I'll be cool, it'll be good.
just ran the Manchester 10K. This is the third year in a row that I've done it. Each year it doesn't get any easier. The only saving grace of this year was that it wasn't the hottest day of the year like last year, and I managed to do a little bit of training this year. Like I said, it doesn't make it any easier. I don't think it's a particularly flat course, but it's all in for a good cause, and hopefully all the money Neil and the Joseph Salmon Trust can use, and it'll really help families, and it's a really good cause, so people should definitely be donating to it.
I can't wait for it to start.
That was just the warm-up, wasn't it?
No, it was really good fun. It went a lot quicker than I thought. I thought I would have done it in over an hour, but turns out I've beaten Ross by
18 seconds. Which is really annoying, because I know that you didn't train at all.
No, I didn't. No, I trained
and
about
I actually
3 weeks
tried
ago.
to train a little bit up until about 3 weeks ago.
Tried.
All right,
Not good enough, clearly. But no, we've got next year, haven't we, Ross?
Well,
Best of luck. Best of luck.
My name's Rachel Salmon, and I am founding trustee and the treasurer of the Joseph Salmon Trust. Well, after our son died 10 years ago, we looked a little bit further into what might and might not be available for people who had lost a child or a younger member of their family. There was nothing just generally to help people financially with the costs incurred with losing a child. So we thought, why not try and do something to address that issue and see how it goes. On average, we probably get about 20 to 25 families a year who will come to us. So it's for the area that we cover, which is kind of Huddersfield and a couple of local areas near to us. I'd say it's quite a substantial amount, really. We don't have any hard and fast rules for people to be able to qualify for a payout from us. It's if they're in need, we try to help them. We've helped people who have had to give up working, who have lost a whole income because they just can't face going into work anymore, who are having trouble paying bills. So it's anything that has that losing a child can have a financial impact upon. So if you Google the Joseph Salmon Trust, it's probably the easiest way to do it. And on there are details of how they can donate. They can follow us on Twitter. And if you can leg up Neil when he's around about the building somewhere, and if you want to give him some cash, then you can do that, or talk to him about ways to donate, or even to fundraise with further events.
And if you would like to make a donation, then the details are on your screen now. Now, it's competition time. Adam, what are we giving away today?
Well, Blad, we have a treat in store for you today, as we are giving away 2 tickets to Salford University's first ever music festival, Atmosphere, with headliners including Subfocus, Mr Jam and The Hoosiers. And all you need to do to be a part of this amazing event is jump onto Twitter and tweet your answer to the following question. Which number bus connects students from campus accommodation to Media City UK for free with a university student pass? Is it A, the 37, B, the 100 or C, the 50? Tweet your answer to us using @KeysNews with the hashtag 15 hours broadcast for your chance to win. The competition closes at 9 p.m. and the winner will be chosen at random. Back to you, Brad.
Brilliant, thanks Adam for that, and of course best of luck to everyone with the competition. And if you are tweeting to us, then you might as well take a trip over to the Joseph Salmon Trust Just Giving page and please donate a few pounds as well. Now, the way we find a partner in today's society has changed compared to previous generations. Our grandparents danced into their hearts of their soulmates at a very young age, and it stayed like that for all their lives. But in the 21st century, the world is not so small anymore, and a partner can be found quite literally at the end of your fingertips. With the internet becoming one of the biggest forms of communication in modern society, there is no doubt that many are using in the quest for love.
In our modern world, less and less of us are getting married, and those of us that are choosing to tie the knot are doing it much later. It's expected that married couples will only take up 41% of the population by the year 2031, making them the minority. With our digital lives becoming more and more pertinent, does this have a role to play in our commitment to others?
It must destabilise our current relationships, having those kind of, the online communication there as well, that kind of element in our relationships which didn't exist previously. I think it's completely redefining the boundaries of infidelity. Whether you're married or not, you can kind of fall in love with somebody you've never met before online. It's something we have to learn to negotiate. I think it's defined in each relationship how you kind of negotiate the boundaries of monogamy. And it's really, really complicated. I think we haven't caught up with the possibilities of the internet quite yet.
Illicit Encounters is a dating website that is specifically for married people looking to have an affair, and there are nearly 1 million people in the UK signed up to do just that.
It was started just over 10 years ago by our founder, who was caring for his partner at the time and needed to get certain sparks in his relationship elsewhere. I think the way we have affairs definitely has changed. You couldn't do it online 10 years ago, and in some ways that's a good thing. It was very common, and you still see this in celebrity circles, where you would end up being unfaithful with someone within your inner circle, maybe one of your partner's friends. And a site like ours enables people to meet people in a location outside of their inner circle, making it a lot safer, and in many cases making their marriage a lot happier.
Most people use the website are secretive about it, like having password-protected photos and other personal details hidden, whilst others are a little bit more open and honest about their relationship status, like even sharing their extramarital escapades with their own partner.
We met through a community group that we were both part of, 17 plus, just coming on just over 17 years ago.
Tony had actually done that sort of thing. He'd sort of like had other people that he'd had affairs with before, and said to me, was I interested in doing it? So I said, we'll go onto go on the internet and see if we can find websites. I went on there first, didn't I?
Yeah.
Met a few men through it, had a few affairs, and got a few regulars that I still see. I think it's best for us too that we don't keep that secret, that we're both completely honest with each other, and that we know what's going on, and it's better for our relationship.
I think it's probably around 80% separate and 20% threesomes or foursomes or...
I mean, the one that we had the threesome with, I mean, I met him over the pub, didn't I?
Yeah.
And brought him back, and we went into the bedroom, and then he asked if Tony wanted to come and join us.
But the majority of people in today's society say, oh, threesomes, foursomes, wife swapping, it's all wrong.
Mm.
But they've never actually done it. They don't know anyone who has. And the truth is, if you've got a set of rules you both abide by, that you're both happy with, it can improve your sex life to go down that road. It can improve your sex life to see someone else one-on-one every now and then.
What's wrong with meeting someone in person nowadays? You know, grab a coffee, some schnitzel, that sort of thing, see where it goes. Well, anyway, Adam's on the social sofa. I bet there's a lot of people on the Twitter sphere, Adam, that, you know, aren't as old-fashioned as I am.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Brad, this has generated a hell of a lot of conversation over on the internet this morning. Thanks to everybody who has been tweeting into the show so far. Love Me Baby 4289 has said, I love online dating. I've met many different people from all over the world. It's great. And Hot Lips 94 said, I met my dream man on the internet. We're now married and not looking back. Hashtag modern love. Oh, isn't that so cute? Emroy TV for Life also tweeted in this morning, said, I usually like to take up burlesquing. That usually works. That also included dating, and she's using the emoji face there in her tweet this morning, just for you, Brad. Oh. I know that's your favourite emoji, isn't it? Of course.
Oh, well, actually, the dancing woman is my favourite.
Dancing woman?
Yeah,
personally, I quite like the faces. I've also had Ross Lee McChicken Sandwich tweeting. Love the Twitter handles, by the way, this morning. He said, I've tried and failed with online dating and never got any results. What's wrong with good old-fashioned dates? Yeah, Brad, what is wrong with a good old-fashioned date?
Exactly. At least there's somebody out there who agrees with me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, just before we head on over to our friends at the Quays News desk, let's see some of the best and worst bits of Quays News over the past academic year.
Now, Bethan, are you doing anything for Valentine's Day next week?
I am actually. I'm going for a meal in town. John, stick to the reporting.
Now, Siobhan, it's that time of year again.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yes, Siobhan, it is. Panto is back.
As we all know, Kim likes to talk a lot, and because she's not going to speak for 24 hours, she's tried to nick my auto cue there.
But unfortunately, this blossoming relationship looked like the petty bickering of a breakup, sadly.
New banana from Autocue.
You can chill out and watch a film in the cinema.
Yeah, and I stood on a cornflake, and now I'm a serial killer.
Don't forget to put your clocks back an hour forward this weekend.
Must remember that, Carly. Goodbye.
Dan McLaughlin, Quays TV News. Please don't eat me.
So I've got some players coming in. Can really do some damage.
Sorry guys, sorry folks, we're having some trouble there. We're going to have to come back to the studio here. All right, thanks very much though, thank you.
Touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline.
Scarlett Johansson, she wears a lot of leather in this film, obviously, and she looks quite sexy. Someone else that looks sexy wearing leather is our sport presenter, Ben.
Quays TV News.
Oh, is that what you'd like to finish for us with tea?
You're very good like Jamie Theakston. Quays TV News. Cut.
Absolutely love this film. I love this film so much that I feel I should have taken it to dinner and then home to meet my parents. It was perfect. And it would be rude to pick on children because,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to. This was like watching other people's children in a nativity play without the unexpected joy of someone falling off stage and giving you a little bit of a laugh. Oh, she's a 19-year-old girl who, after a bit of How's Your Father, finds herself pursued by what I can only describe as an ST demon. You're going to see this in Asda in a couple of weeks with a £5 sticker on it.
La, 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 la.
You got it!
Yay!
I didn't have to leave. I went to the loo at one point and thought, I'm not going back. No one will know. I'll just make the review up like Richard Bacon used to. Well, who are you to decide that just because this happens to be based on a plasticine sheep from a Wallace and Gromit short, that is better than something like the pretentious Birdman that just sniffing its own self-indulge. Oh, God, I hate that film.
Birdman?
Oh, I could talk all day about Birdman.
Well, hopefully there'll be loads to look forward to next year. Now let's get the news, sport and weather from around the northwest.
Good morning and welcome to your Quays News update with me, Lewis Smith. A man has been jailed for subjecting a woman to a series of sexual assaults, culminating in an attempted rape in a Salford park. Adam Salah was sentenced to 5 years and 10 months in prison this week at Manchester Crown Court after pleading guilty in September. 2 men involved in a major criminal plot to chop up stolen cars have been sentenced. Shahad Dean and Thomas Gutzkowski were arrested as part of Operation Gridiron, an investigation into a conspiracy to steal high-powered and luxury cars that were taken to industrial units and chopped up. Dean was jailed for 20 months and Gutzkowski to 9 at Manchester Crown Court yesterday. Now, to Transport and Greater Manchester and Manchester City Council have agreed to a new tram stop at Exchange Square. Construction work will begin this summer with foundations being laid on Corporation Street outside of the Manchester Arndale. The stop is due to open in late 2015 as part of Metrolink's second City Crossing programme. The University of Salford is hosting a 15-hour marathon in broadcast in aid of the Joseph Salmon Trust. Programmes ranging from news and entertainment, even the odd quiz, will be airing live from Media City UK. Rachel Salmon discussed the important work of the charity.
Well, after our son died 10 years ago, we, after a while of knowing that we would like to do something to help other people in a similar situation to us, we looked a little bit further into what might and might not be available for people who had lost a child or a younger member of their family. We realised that we couldn't take away the pain of having lost a child, but we could try and help avoid it getting any worse.
That's good. Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service took the opportunity to remind Coronation Street viewers on how to tackle house fires. During the broadcast, where a large fire was created by character Tracy Barlow, the fire service tweeted, "Don't try to tackle a big fire yourself like Leanne just did. Call 999 immediately and firefighters will be there within minutes. #Corrie." They finished the evenings tweeting with, "Last Corrie tweet of the evening and probably the most important. Working smoke alarms save lives. And if you don't have one, call 0800 555 815. A University of Salford co-commission was part of New Arts venue Home's opening exhibition. The £25 million Arts Centre had its official launch this week, with Trainspotting director Danny Boyle speaking at the event. The film, The Most Cruel of All Goddesses, joins other commissions at the merger between the Corner House and the Library Theatre Company. New Chancellor Jackie Kay welcomed the collaboration between the university and Home.
To both organisations in a unique and different way, I hope, and I'm just really excited to see what the conversation will be like between the University of Salford and Home, how we will jointly help and support each other to do the things that we all believe in very, very firmly, and that is put creativity at the very centre and the core of our being to make all of our lives richer and all of our lives fuller. Thank you.
Apologies for the slight technical tantrums there. Now, the Bank of England is searching for a leading figure in the visual arts to replace the communist Adam Smith on the £20 note. People are being asked to nominate deceased artists, including architects, designers, filmmakers, photographers and painters, to grace the currency. Famous Salfordians eligible include Ed S. Lowry and A Taste of Honey playwright Shayla Delaney. Nominations can be made on the Bank of England website and they close on the 19th of July. Now to sport, and FC United of Manchester will be celebrating their 10th anniversary in style tonight with a friendly against Portuguese giants Benfica. The club formed in 2005 in protest against the Glazer takeover of Manchester United. FC United will host Benfica in their new £5.5 million stadium, Broadhurst Park, with kick-off at 7:45.
I think this shows what football supporters can actually do when they have a vision of something different and when they come together with a common purpose. I mean, I think, you know, that commitment of the supporters to actually get this facility developed shows that you can actually achieve something when people come together, when ordinary people come together and try and make a difference.
And staying with football, and women will feature in video game 2016 for the first time in the game's history. The England's women's team will feature alongside 11 of their international counterparts, but there will be no Manchester United footballers selected to play as they've not had a women's team for 10 years. The MP for Worsley and Eccles South, Barbara Keeley, has recently called the lack of a women's team unacceptable. And finally to the weather, and it will be a cloudy and wet start with the heaviest rain from about morning until midday. This rain will clear to the east and be replaced by brighter skies and heavy showers, perhaps thundery. Feeling cool in brisk winds, top temperature 11 degrees Celsius. We'll be back with another news update at 8 a.m. Until then, back to you, Brad.
Welcome back to Breakfast with Brad, the breakfast show kicking off our marathon special, all in aid of the Joseph Salmon Trust. Still to come this morning, we chat to the man behind the voiceover for the new hit TV programme Come Dine with Quays. We hear about a woman who claims she's trapped inside another body, and we return to our second part of our dementia special. So, now you might expect a lavish lifestyle of wining and dining to be a luxury to some, but after being involved with these scenes over the past few weeks,
Do you want food or not?
Should probably check on that actually.
Wow, dramatic. Well, Adam Bysouth joins us with all the backstage gossip for the new daytime programme, Come Dine with Quays. Adam, wow.
It's quite amazing what we've got coming up in the marathon broadcast with this show. Do you know, Brad, I like to think us lot on Quays, we're quite a reasonable group of people, aren't we? We're quite nice towards each other. Yeah, I'd say that. When you introduce food into it, oh, no, that completely goes outside the window. We've got Michaela Roy being the ultimate critic there. You, sir, I've got to have a word with you. You started a food fight, didn't you?
It wasn't me. It was Ross. Definitely Ross, yeah. I mean, you'll see evidence of that hopefully later on. But yes, I was one of the food critics. And it was quite interesting to see what some of the creations, well, or meals, if you want to call them that, were involved during that recording. But wow, a lot of food, a lot of wine. It was very exciting.
I've got something else as well to tell you. Did you realise that there was actually a fear of raw chicken? That fear exists.
I did, yeah. And do you know what? But I'm the same. I can't I can't touch raw meat. I will, but I'm just not a fan of touching raw meat. I just can't do it. So I'm with Kate on that one.
You're with her because I provided obviously the voiceover for this. I was that sarky narrator who was criticising everything. Had great fun doing it. But when I was watching it back, I didn't realise that this phobia exists at all. So if you want to see how raw chicken affects somebody, then make sure you tune in to Come Dine with Quays a little bit later on. But I must say though, some of the food wasn't bad at all. I know we here laugh at it.
Well, we had paella, we had lasagna, which I've never had chicken, and I think it was an aubergine lasagna, which was bizarre. But, you know, wow, what a range, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of that later on. It's going to be very exciting.
It is.
Now, ataxia telangiectasia, or AT, is a progressive genetic condition which causes severe disability, also shortens lives. Our reporter Antonia Hunter looks into this rare condition.
In this three-part series, we look into a rare genetic condition called ataxia telangiectasia.
He's got AT. He may not live till 30. By the time he's 9, 10, he'll be in a wheelchair. He's going to need constant care.
As the children get older, there are different challenges for the family and for the person, the teenager.
The thought of having twins is enough in itself with double the trouble, but for this family it was much more than that. When these two boys were just a few months old, differences between them began to show.
It was a number of things really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Brogan started walking on his first birthday, didn't he, in the hall? He just got up and started walking, and Bray didn't. And we thought, oh, he'll just walk when he's ready.
He was always falling over.
And then we just take him around people's houses and they're like, oh, he's all right, he's just developing later than his brother.
Going to the hospital like every week or twice a week because he'd fall over and bang his head, get a big bruise or something, and we thought, oh, you know, social services is going to get involved soon because you hear every week.
But we knew there was something wrong, didn't we?
Well, you did. I was hopeful that I said, look, maybe they've made a mistake. Maybe he's got nothing. When we went to the hospital, there was a lot of doctors. You know, when you go somewhere, you know that something's different. Because before it, but the twins, everybody wants to. Well, I was saying, nobody wants to look at us this time. Nobody would make any eye contact. And then they called us into the room, sat us down. He's got AT. He may not live till 30. By the time he's 9, 10, he'll be in a wheelchair. He's going to need constant care. One of you will have to give up work. And it was like a blur. I'm on the internet from morning till night trying to find a cure somewhere. There must be something. Someone must have a plan.
1 in 200 people carry the gene known to cause AT. When 2 carriers meet, there is then a 1 in 4 chance they will pass on both their defective genes to the child. AT affects many parts of the body. Coordination progressively worsens, the immune system becomes weaker, and there is an increased risk of developing cancer. The life expectancy of those with AT is now 26 years old, which has increased from just 10 years old. Research into AT takes place right here at the Gurdon Institute in Cambridge. This is Professor Steve Jackson's lab, where his team are looking into developmental biology and, in particular, DNA repair.
My lab's really trying to understand how human cells work and how they repair damage to DNA, which is taking place all the time in our cells. And work of particular relevance to AT is the fact that some of these responses to DNA damage are defective in the cells from AT patients. That's because the ATM protein, which is deficient in these patients, normally plays an important role in recognizing, signaling, and helping to repair the DNA damage. If we understand the things that aren't working correctly in AT, then maybe it's possible to correct those at some level. We've been interested in AT for many years for 2 main reasons. One, it's a really debilitating disease, and it's motivating for me and members of my lab to be working on a disease that's striking young people down, because we'd love to do something to help these patients.
Research has aided the understanding of AT biologically, but also physically for families and carers living with the condition every day. Despite having AT, Bray is showing no sign of wanting to slow down.
You want to go 100% like broken, but his body gets tired, the knees, the legs.
He just talks to everyone, gets on with everyone. Brogan helps him. Like, they help each other. Like, Bray doesn't want to give up.
With these 2, the bond will be there, but it's just going to be hard for both of them. Even though we kind of know what the future is for him, all we can do is the basics. What can you do? How can you prepare? He's crazy little Bray, and what will be, will be.
Well, Antonia Hunter joins us on the sofa now. Thanks for coming in this morning. After watching the piece back, do you think you've learned anything now from what AT is?
It's one of those things where it's so rare and it's such a complex condition that when you actually look into it, you realise what these people are actually going through every day. You know, having to watch your child from about basically 2 years old up to about 10 just increasingly deteriorate over that time, and being the parent to that child is an incredibly difficult thing. And just seeing that, and seeing the inspiration that they have, and like you saw there, they just want to do the basics. They just want to make sure that he's got the best life possible, which is really incredible, to be honest. I learned just how strong people can be. It's amazing.
Do you think people need to be made aware about AT?
They do, because it's so rare. I think that is part of it. It's a bit of a double-edged sword in the way people are curious because it's so rare, but then on the other side, it's so unknown and it's so rare and it's so unlikely you'd get it that maybe it's not. Yeah. People might think, oh well, it won't happen to me. It is slightly on the rise, just because people have more partners and things like that.
We're going to have to
but
leave it
it's
there,
still
I'm afraid,
rare.
But yes, thank you for joining us this morning. Now, how would you feel if you were living in somebody else's body? Well, Dawn has lived most of her life in what she considers is the wrong body. Penny James has been to find out what it's like to be on such a difficult path.
I've always known that I was in the wrong body. Never been able to sure on how to articulate it to anybody at an early stage. But I knew that I was now, well, at least now I know I'm trans. Back then I just thought I was wrong.
Dawn is 62. She was born Dave. As a child, she was unsure what her feelings meant, but it wasn't until puberty hit that her world began to change.
My voice was dropping. My voice had dropped round to around about there, which was very freaky for me. And it really caused me a problem. So I decided the only thing I could do was go and see my GP and tell him exactly how I feel. My GP leant across to me, said the magic words that affected the rest of my life: you're a pervert. My whole world just fell out from underneath me. And all of a sudden you're in this gaping chasm looking down. And all I could hear at that moment were those words: you're a pervert.
And that stayed with you for quite a while?
Till I came out.
This was not the only troubling experience Dawn had. At home, things became even worse.
My father decided that the best way to show me how to be a man was absolutely beat me to a pulp, which he did. He hit me, he put me on the floor, and he stamped on me. It proved two things to me: keep your mouth shut, never admit anything.
It was from there that Dawn decided Dave had to stay. She joined the army to prove her masculinity and even got married and had children. But she couldn't run away from her true self.
Dawn was always there. And you feel like you've got this dichotomy going on in your head, that you're trying to stop this person coming out. And it's like you're in a pressure cooker. And this lid's continually bubbling.
You didn't actually know the term transgender for quite a long time, so tell me about when you discovered that.
It was a pure accident. I was about 56 and I had a load of dihydrocodeine in front of me. And what I was going to do was get a transport link on the computer to go to Pennine. Bottle of booze, all my tablets, down the neck with both of them. And I hit G instead of P, and this gender came up on Google search. And I start to read, and I'm going, that's how I feel. Oh my God, that is how I feel. No, it can't be right. And I'm constantly, and I'm doing this with the tablets, and I'm putting them away.
It was through this discovery that Dawn found Transforum, a support group based in Manchester. She admits this moment saved her life.
As I looked through the window, I saw 40 women in there. Some very masculine women, but I saw 40 women. And that moment I cried my eyes out. And it's still emotional for me now. And I just realised I'm not a pervert. I'm not what they said I was. And I didn't know what I was at the time, but I'm not what they said I was. I remember falling on the floor. And somebody came rushing out, asked me how I was, and they got me sat in a chair and got me a cup of tea, and I had a cup of tea. And then went in, and they do this thing there where we pass the mic round to introduce ourselves. For the first time, I said, I'm Dawn, and I'm terrified.
And it was here that Dawn came years ago and first truly found herself at Transforum, based in the heart of Manchester's gay village at the LGBT Foundation. She's now the vice chair and wants to help people like herself who could turn up here frightened and alone.
I've seen girls that come here very down, very bereft of everything, and I've seen them grow, and that gives me a kick to actually see some girls blossom out like I did.
So what does Transforum mean to the people that come here?
One of the great things about it is that why do I come back now after 10 years when I'm where I want to be? And it's to put back, and it's to help others, and it's to put my experiences back into the group and say to people, there's an answer to that.
The idea of coming here was get information from people who've been through the process, how it's affected them,
has it worked, has it not, but basically to try and find any pitfalls out, anything I can bypass, and really to gather information. That was the original point of coming.
I suppose in a sense it's meeting people who have the same sort of attitude to gender. Gender isn't just binary, it's not male or female, it's either changing between one or the other or somewhere in between.
Here we are at the LGF and it feels like home, and it saved my life, this place. And if it saves one person, it's fulfilled its duty.
Peering through this window years ago, Dawn was given a new chance at life. This place is simply a lifeline to those embarked on a very difficult journey.
Such an interesting piece, that. Now, dementia is a disease that is starting to affect more and more people. By 2025, over 1 million will be living with dementia. For our two-part mini-documentary on living with dementia, we followed the stories of two incredible people as they care for their mothers who are suffering from the illness.
850,000 people are living in the UK and suffering from dementia. That's roughly a ratio of around 1 in 7 people. And this figure is only set to rise to over 1 million by 2025. With these figures soaring, only more and more people are going to be affected by this disease. In this series of films, I speak to those who are affected by dementia. Not only the patients themselves, but their families as well, who have to care for them and watch them deteriorate day by day in front of their eyes. I see what it is like to live with dementia. Today I'm in Stockport to speak to Les Pattison. Les cared for his mother for a total of 12 years, the last 4 of which she was living with dementia. His mother sadly lost her battle in 2012.
I was her carer. I used to go around every single day, and I noticed one day that you tell her to do something and she didn't do it, or I'd tell her to do something like go and make a brew, Mum. So she'd shoot into the kitchen, put the kettle on. She said, "Why have I come in here? Put the kettle on." "Oh, aye." So she put the kettle on, that was it.
Les's concerns about his mother's memory continued for the next few months, leading him to consult a doctor.
And there's one particular question I can remember, and she says, "I'm going to tell you three things, and I'll ask you in a while about them 3 again." And the 3 were apple, orange, table. After she's asked my mum 4 or 5 questions, she said, "What were those 3 things?" I said, "Banana, pineapple, table, I think."
His mother was diagnosed in March 2008 with vascular dementia, a form of the illness which affects a person's short-term memory and then their long-term.
She used to love to read. She absolutely adored her soaps, Coronation Street, EastEnders, the whole lot. And she knew the plot in every single one. And she knew all the faces and she knew all the names. She hadn't a clue what the name of the actor was, or actress. She wasn't bothered about that, but she was in that. But as time went on, she never read. Everything that she really liked before, she didn't do.
To help prepare for his mother's illness, Les went to a training course. This taught him everything he needed to know about dementia and what to expect when his mother declined.
One of the things I was told about when we went on to this course was they gave us a book. And in this book, it's here, on the front you write who the person is and whatever, and date of birth. And then you go through and ask you about who are you, and she answers. Where do you live? Were you married? What was your husband's name? How many children you got? What were their names? And what have you. And then the next page would be blank, where you can put photographs in. And the only people you can remember was me, my sister, and my dad. Nobody else. She couldn't remember anything about school or all that. And when you showed her a picture, she'd say, "Oh, that was the school I went to." I said, "Who was your friends?" "I don't know, I can't remember. It's escaped me for the moment." No, it's all right.
For his period of time as a carer, Les has been with Stockport organisation Signpost for Carers, where he has recently become chairman.
Signpost for Carers is an organisation that offers help for all types of carers of all ages. They want to highlight and raise awareness about the work that is put into helping their loved ones.
There's 1,001 reasons why people are carers. You know, drugs, alcohol, dementia. If the government didn't have the likes of carers like myself, at the last count it was worth something in the order of over £80 billion a year, doing it for free. Because that's what we do it for free, there's no money.
He did not let this stop him caring for his mother in her time of need. He wants to ensure that everyone receives the love and care he was able to give his mother for the last years of her life.
It's saddening to see your mum drifting away, hasn't a clue who anybody is, who all her loved ones, her friends and everything, and it's all just a blur. Because the short-term memory goes first, medium-term memory, and then the long-term memory. And like I say, it's shocking. She just slowly withered away.
It's not nice.
It wasn't nice, no. No.
What would you say was kind of the hardest part of it all for you?
I'd say that. Yeah, seeing... I knew where she'd been all her life. My dad and my mum went round the world twice. They'd been flying 100 feet above the raging Colorado at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. They've been everywhere and they did everything. She couldn't remember anything. So wherever she went and all the things she saw, it had all gone. It all drifted into the past and gone. That's one of the things, but I would definitely say that my mum just withering away and expiring in front of my eyes. I can remember, yeah.
Well, joining us now is Les Pattison, who supports someone with dementia. Les, thank you for coming in this morning. What did you make of that piece there?
I thought it was very good. You encapsulated quite a few bits and pieces there. Yeah, very nice.
So you help somebody with dementia. Who is that and what's that been like for you?
Well, as far as I was concerned, with my mum, the thing that really caused the big problem was that you never knew what each day was going to bring. Every time something happened, I could see something different, and because I went round and saw my mum all the time, I knew when things were changing. That's when I started to take her to the doctors, and when we went to the doctors, they then, or he should say, he then sent us to the Meadows in Stockport, and we eventually ended up having a review, and the lady doctor came out and she assessed my mum and said she got vascular dementia.
And, you know, is it treatable, dementia? Because you were telling me before we went into that piece that there's over, was it 100? 200. 200 types
I believe
of dementia.
So, yeah.
That's absolutely mad.
Yeah.
That's absolutely mad.
No, there's no, I don't believe there's any proper cure because, I mean, the government have said they're going to put a load of money into research to try and find out a better way forward for dementia. But from what I know, the only one you've got a chance with at the moment is Alzheimer's. Apart from that, I don't think there's anything.
No. Well, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much for coming in to share your story with us today.
Thank you.
Now, that's it from us this morning. The competition is still running throughout the day, so make sure you get your tweets in before 9 p.m. tonight. And of course, the main reason that we're doing this is for the Joseph Salmon Trust. So if you get a chance today, then please donate. Details of how to donate are on the website keysnews.net. Thanks for watching. Have a great morning. You've got Chatterboxes up next. Bye-bye. Great. Cheers, man.
Thank you, Brad, and welcome back to the Quays News studio for your second update with me, Lewis Smith. Greater Manchester Police have launched an investigation after a man's body was found in the River Irwell in Salford yesterday. Officers were called to the scene near Ordsall, near the Campanile Hotel, at 2:50 p.m. to report a body was in the water. Traffic officials have been forced to postpone an overnight closure of the M60 after they underestimated how heavy the new gantries would be. The motorway was due to close on Saturday as part of the Smart Motorway project, but the demolition of the old gantries hit a hitch when the replacement weighed over the 100 tonnes predicted. The Highway Agency will be conducting a full investigation about the miscalculation. Speaking of the roads, there's heavy traffic around Trafford Road area and around the Quays, with delays starting from 7 a.m. this morning. And as expected, traffic into Manchester is heavy at rush hour, with everybody heading into work. Now, Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service took the opportunity to remind Coronation Street viewers on how to tackle house fires. During the broadcast, where a large fire was created by Tracy Barlow, the fire service tweeted, "Don't try to tackle a big fire yourself like Leanne just did. Call 999 immediately and firefighters will be there within minutes. #Corrie." They finished the evening's tweeting with last Corrie tweet of the evening and probably the most important, working smoke alarms save lives. So if you don't have one, call 0800 555 815. Transport for Greater Manchester and Manchester City Council have agreed to a new tram stop at Exchange Square. Construction work will begin this summer with foundations being laid on Corporation Street outside of the Manchester Arndale. The stop is due to open in late 2015 as part of the Metrolink's second City Crossing programme. 2 men involved in a major criminal plot to chop up stolen cars have been sentenced. Shahad Daheen and Thomas Gutkowski were arrested as part of Operation Gridiron, an investigation into a conspiracy to steal high-powered luxury cars that were then taken to industrial units and chopped up. Daheen was jailed for 20 months and Gutkowski to 9 at Manchester Crown Court yesterday. And the University of Salford is hosting a 15-hour marathon broadcast in aid of the Joseph Salmon Trust. Programmes ranging from the news to entertainment and even the odd quiz will be airing live here from Media City UK. Speaking on Breakfast with Brad, Rachel Salmon discussed the important work of the charity.
Well, after our son died 10 years ago, we after a while of knowing that we would like to do something to help other people in a similar situation to us, we looked a little bit further into what might and might not be available for people who had lost a child or a younger member of their family. We realised that we couldn't take away the pain of having lost a child, but we could try and help avoid it getting any worse.
The University of Salford co-commission was part of the new arts venue Home's opening exhibition. The £25 million Arts Centre had its official launch this week, with Trainspotting director Danny Boyle speaking at the event. The film, The Most Cruel of All Goddesses, joins other commissions at the merger between the Corner House and the Library Theatre Company. New Chancellor Jackie Kay welcomed the collaboration between the university and Home.
In a unique and different way, I hope, and I'm just really excited to see what the conversation will be like between the University of Salford and Home, how we will jointly help and support each other to do the things that we all believe in very, very firmly, and that is put creativity at the very centre and the core of our being to make all of our lives richer and all of our lives fuller.
And over to sport, and FC United of Manchester will be celebrating their 10th anniversary with a friendly against the Portuguese giants Benfica. The club formed in 2005 in protest against the Glazer takeover of Manchester United. FC United will be hosting Benfica in their new £5.5 million stadium, Broadhurst Park, kicking off at 7:45.
I think this shows what football supporters can actually do when they have a vision of something different and when they come together with a common purpose. I mean, I think, you know, that commitment of the supporters to actually get this facility developed shows that you can actually achieve something when people come together, when ordinary people come together and try and make a difference.
And finally to the weather. It'll be a cloudy and wet start with the heaviest rain from the morning till about midday. Top temperature at 11 degrees Celsius. So we'll be back on air at 10 a.m. with Chatterboxes, and you can join me at 2 p.m. for a look back at Manchester's non-league football season. Goodbye.